The secret, the secret we never wanted revealed as women is that as women, we have a switch, like a light switch with sex, and it is either off or it is on. And we all know we have this switch and that we have the capacity and the choice to turn it on and off when we want to. And as women, when we were single, we had the switch on for bad boys and we had the switch off for good men until we were ready to settle down and get married and start a family. And so good men can know if you struggled to get women when you were younger and before you were married, or if you're watching and you're single, this will shed some light for you too. If you didn't have a lot of women until you met your wife, it's because she had her switched off. And then when she was ready to settle down, she turned it on and she used the on switch with sex to trap you to get what she wanted, which was to get married. And so when we're ready to get married, our biological clock is ticking. We get a good man and we enjoy sex. We want to have plenty of sex. And then we get what we want. We get married and the sex stops. And the sex becomes unimportant. And like I said, it becomes infrequent. And all of a sudden, the amount of sex you were having before you got married begins to dwindle and dwindle and dwindle. Because it was a trap. It was a trap to get what we wanted. My mentor shared with me what he calls the penny analogy. That if you put a penny in a jar for every time you had sex before you got married, and then you took a penny after you got married, you took a penny out for every time you have sex once you're married, you would never empty the jar. And that's the sad reality of sex with your wife, is that she used sex to get married. And once she trapped you, there was no reason for sex anymore.
Today's commentary is about dead bedrooms and intimacy issues circa 2024. Well, we've heard from a select number of ladies regarding their thoughts and feelings on dead bedrooms. Mostly their reasons for denying a man sex plausible or ideologically. Some of the points listed would be valid if we weren't in the modern age of overt, one-sided sensitivity skewed towards women's issues drenched in the trappings of feminism. Men are being asked to consider their personal, professional, and ideological issues when posting up for sex. Dare I say, righteous indignation is the order of the day, giving these women yet another opportunity to dish out copious amounts of psychological abuse to their partners. The word salad is so thick, you would need a machete to cut through it for a chance at an honest conversation about the matter. That being said, none of the women involved are interested in that dialogue, only wanting to get their shots in sprinkled with various misandrist-flavored zingers. Basically, since Kevin Samuels brought up the table analogy, women have been angrily responding to the more than fair query about their contribution to said table, by stating in most cases, "I am the table." More crass responses posit that women bring sex and their wombs to that metaphorical table without considering what that actually means coming from said women. Self-objectification is rug-swept and glossed over, but these same upright women of the community scoff and balk at fulfilling their part of that alleged bargain while submitting an intricately detailed list of their needs and wants under the nomenclature of provision. They classify the men they want as providers, but egregiously push back regarding their self-proclaimed status as the table based solely on their vaginas. Shit, these women aren't even offering emotional support and intimacy in the deal. They tell us, "We ain't your mama." Yeah, they tell us that shit while expecting you to be loving and caring, an emotional tampon and amateur therapist. Their gay best friends there to be a conditional Greek chorus in their pea brains. You're required to be at the top of your game 24/7. Voraciously ambitious, ready to bend the knee and sacrifice yourself for her greatest good. You are not a human being, only an asexual workhorse, living utility and ATM. All that and you can't get no pussy when you want it. Marriage is a legally binding contract, but women can opt out of their duties under said contract citing organic and psychological concerns. Give you the middle finger out of some retarded sense of moral indignation. How dare you want some pussy? I've got a headache. I'm not in the mood. So when you tell them you're not in the mood to pay the bills or any related charges, you're called crass and immature for wanting what they offered to be in the relationship. Make that shit make sense. Hate to borrow something from the new black media, but no pussy, no provision. It's that simple when you take into account these same women have turned the organic into the inorganic. When you see your woman sitting on her fat, lazy ass, tell yourself she's sitting on her business. Be pragmatic and close your wallet. When she asks you when you're going to pay the bills, ask her when she's going to give you some pussy. Tell her you want your pipes cleaned and advise her to purchase a credit card reader going forward. Be that nigga. It's what they've demanded of us for generations, and I think it's time they got it in spades. 9 times out of 10, that female, whatever her physical condition and lot in life, regardless of her economic situation, considers you as the partner she settled for, kings. Is that good enough for you? Do you need another mouth to feed that could possibly respawn more mouth with her mindset under your roof? Ask yourself, are you settling? No pussy, no provision is as crass as it sounds, but these modern women have no filter. Taming the shrew isn't feasible, and the motherfucking juice ain't worth the squeeze. Modern pussy is price gouged and defective. Do you really want to microwave a waste of space in their entitled wombs? Saving yourself is a necessity unless your name is Pookie. Dead bed equals dead wallet. That hole between their legs needs to be put out of business, and I'll cite the same ideological reasons they use to cheat the system they created on the workbench of radical feminism. I'm not just a misogynist anarchist, I'm a romantic. Kings, keep your head on a swivel, protect your bag, and above all else, do not make fallen women the stewards of your family, the mothers of your children. They are your future, your legacy. SYSBM means save yourself, black men. All praise to the Most High.
Most women don't know what their rejection of sex means to their husbands.
Why is it that people always want to talk about what physical rejection does to men, but they never want to talk about what emotional rejection does to women? Because those two things are absolutely interconnected. And why do you want to blame women for saying no without even considering why they do? You don't seem to realize that men emotionally reject their wives every time they walk in the house without saying hello, and every time they forget to take out the trash, even though she asked them to 100 times. And when you treat your wife like she's unimportant, she obviously starts to feel like she is. And it hurts when you reach for someone's body after you've so blatantly ignored their mind. So your wife doesn't reject your advances because she wants to cause you pain. She rejects you because she's already feeling rejected by the time you ask. And I'd be willing to bet that she told you about that before, but you didn't care when it came to saving the relationship, and you're only feeling frustrated with the consequences of it because you're not getting laid now. You actually said that a lack of sex can kill a man's soul. But the only thing that's truly soul-crushing is physically forcing someone into a situation that they can't mentally stand to be in. And please don't tell me that you're capable of connecting with a woman during sex if she's counting the minutes until it's over. You're not a victim because you're not having sex, and I want to try to explain to you why. Let's say your wife is tired from making dinner, but you don't talk to her while you're eating, thank her for making the meal, or offer to clean up after it. But you do grab her hips when you walk by her doing the dishes, and then you expect her to stay up and pleasure you instead of going to bed and getting the rest she needs so that she can get up and do it all alone again tomorrow. Now, do you honestly believe that you're being punished in a marriage that's void of affection? Or do you think that you could have done something differently in order to create actual intimacy? Listen, I'm going to suggest that you don't worry about fixing your sex life, and that you worry about fixing your relationship instead. Because sex is the natural product of a healthy partnership. And you may even find something more meaningful while you're at it. This is not it. Because if you actually cared about restoring people's relationships, then you wouldn't be trying to guilt women into having sex. And you would be encouraging couples to reconnect so that they actually want to have sex together.